show. Geraldo Rivera is here, who's on television a lot.
You can mess up my hair anytime you want, Ainsley.
Maybe.
Oh,
well.
Hello.
Really?
That would be like if Geraldo, if I felt your mustache, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're famous for.
That's okay.
I think that was a very humanizing moment. I think that his hair is the butt of endless jokes. The theories about how it's combed over and pinned and this and that, you know, you have camera angles, always exposés. I thought I was deeply impressed by the fact that it was so resilient.
Well, and he was having a good time. But then again, why shouldn't he? Brand new Fox News polls came out yesterday where it is a horse race. He is actually, it's within the margin of error, but he is on top for a change, 46-45. He's having a really good week, and she's had a really bad
time. I think that it goes back to August, Steve, when she made the decision to do fundraising rather than campaign appearances, or de-escalated one and emphasized the other, disappeared, basically left the field to Donald Trump, and he really has gone with Kellyanne at the helm of his campaign, very much more presidential, issue paper after issue paper. As soon as the Democrats respond to one issue, he's on to another one. And then the illness. The last time I was on this couch, Saturday morning, everyone was looking forward to September 11th, to the commemoration of it. And what happened? She had the undisclosed pneumonia, almost passed out. Rick Leventhal, our terrific reporter, was one of the few who spotted
He's the only one.
that. It could be the only one. Certainly the first. And to see her so frail, so, lethargic in many ways, contrasted to the ebullient Trump, the energetic Trump, the big blustering Trump, I think was very stark, and now she has to make it back. I think that yesterday her resurfacing was a step in that direction. She seemed wane. She was definitely not filled with zest, let's say. And to the extent that it's important to people, I think that she really must show that she has and I hate to come back to his word because I think he meant it pejoratively, has the energy to be president.
The stamina.
The stamina.
Well, she was, it looked like to us, not coherent at all when she was trying to get in that van, and the mainstream media painted it to be like she just stumbled. It was,
they were dragging her by the toes there.
Well, and his own son said it would be interesting to see what the results would be, what the polls would look like if the mainstream media would just report it the way that they should in a non-biased way. But if you look at, there's a group of conservative Latino leaders that are upset with Univision for the way that journalist Jorge Ramos is covering this, because they're saying he's in the tank for Hillary, and it's obvious.
He's actually said he thinks Donald Trump's dangerous.
Oh, no, there's no doubt. I don't think that Jorge Ramos makes any bones about the fact that he wants Hillary to win.
Yeah. But he's their news guy.
But he got while that is definitely true, let me just say as kindly as I can, it is not unprecedented this day and age for broadcasters, for news people to choose sides. You've got to make a distinction within news divisions, the fact reporters and the opinion reporters. So I cut him plenty of slack, but let me explain a little bit of what's going on very briefly within the Hispanic community. It's not one monolithic Hispanic community. Let me just talk about very briefly nation groups. Mexico, Central America, that's the group I think represented by Jorge Ramos. These are people who have been taken the brunt of Mr. Trump's wrath about the southern border and so forth. This is the group that he targeted with the rapist, drug dealer comment, in my view, ill-conceived comments in his very announcement. So he's been the enemy of that group in their perception and in the media's characterization right from the get-go. But there are also other Latinos, and I think these are where the conservatives that, Ainsley, that you referenced come from. The Cuban Americans, ever since the Castro Revolution, have been embraced by the GOP. They get favored status when they come to this country. Right. Unlike other immigrants, if they can touch the sand in America, they stand. The presumption is they are political refugees. Cuban Americans have, since Castro, voted GOP, and they can be instrumental in election contests. Remember the year 2000, Bush v. Gore, a tie vote in Florida, the key state. Whoever won Florida won the presidency of the United States. The Cuban Americans, with their turnout, with their vote, and with their physical prevention of the recount of the vote in Miami-Dade, gave the election, I submit, to George W. Bush. They were key. Now, jump cut to this 2016, once again, Latinos in Florida will determine who wins the presidency, in my view. But it won't be the same Latinos. It won't be the Cubans, the Republican Cubans in South Florida. It will be the Puerto Ricans, mi gente, my people, who have relocated in hundreds of thousands along the I-4 corridor between Orlando, Daytona Beach, and Tampa.
Well, Geraldo, right now the Puerto Rico is
collapsing,
or their economic strife is forcing people out. They're choosing Florida for the most part, but the polls don't show that he's actually done well in Florida, even at his lowest point.
Because
the polls show he's leading in Florida.
They do, and the polls are stunning. But the key to the Latino vote, and remember, Mitt Romney got 27% of it, lost. George W. Bush got 44% of the Latino vote, won. The key will be turnout. In the midterm elections in 2014, the turnout was in the mid-20s among the Latino voters. If that's the turnout, no doubt Trump wins. If the turnout stays that low, that's what Jorge Ramos is concerned about.
He's trying to energize his base.
And that's why Univision has become the get out to vote.
Hillary.
The get out to vote translates to vote for Hillary.
Yeah. Gallup was looking at some polls, and this, according to this Gallup on Gallup.com, 32% of people, of Americans, say they have a great deal or a fair amount of trust when it comes to the media. Only 32%. The rest don't trust the media.
You know, I've been in the media a long time, and
you're part of the problem, apparently.
Part of the problem, yeah, for many years. But I remember this was the tone also during the Nixon. He ran in '68 and '72, of course, and the media was the enemy back in those days. And the media was shaped differently. It really was just the elites. There were no Fox News outlets at that time. So the media through AM radio became, you know, the enemy. The distrust or trust of the media kind of goes up and down. And the media is an easy whipping boy. And going back to where we started the conversation, now that you have opinion media, they choose sides. You are guaranteed to offend half the country with whatever side that you take.
And that's one of the reasons why people tend to watch the channels or listen to the radio that reflects their point of view.
They want to hear stuff that they nod along to.
That's how I feel.
The Rush
they want the echo chamber.
Exactly. And that's
I want stimulating talk.
Well, that's what you get here on the Cats, because you never know, for instance, where I'm going to come in.
Never. You just never, ever know.
Nor sometimes
out of my mouth. I don't know. I sit down here and I start a sentence. I have no idea where it's ending.
So, real quickly, next event in the race toward the White House will be the debate. And that's really going to be telling. When you see he and she together on the stage.
There's no. One of the dangers to Hillary Clinton of having Bill Clinton and more importantly Barack Obama campaigning for her is they are so much more vivacious, energetic than she is. She has to show, when she stands up at that debate forum, that not only does she master the policy, but that she has the verve. She has the passion to deliver.
The style over substance, and she's got to bait him to looking like a bully.
Right. Remember Rick Lazio when he ran against her and he stood next to her during the debate and she kind of looked at him down her nose?
That's all it
took.
That
ruined Rick Lazio, the Republicans' political life. Hillary went on to win. I think that perception will be reality in terms of the debate.
Geraldo, thank you very much.
Oh, Stevie, so pleased to be here.
Have a great weekend.